Hey, today we're going to talk about weird, nonsensical reactions regarding Tylenol. We're going to talk about weird, nonsensical reactions to Tylenol. So, I spent a lot of time watching videos in the last week. My watch time on my phone is crazy high in the last week because I can't believe the things that people are saying. And it's been determined that Tylenol is toxic. And yeah, it's Tylenol is toxic. And I actually learned this 30 years ago when I was in chiropractic school. Yeah, in chiropractic school, they said Tylenol is toxic. It's bad for the liver, and it's exponentially bad for the liver. So, as you eat more and more Tylenol, it makes your liver worse and worse and worse. And so, it's not a surprise that Tylenol causes damage, but it's crazy how people are threatened by that, or they claim that you're now anti women. I mean, yeah, I don't get it. It's just crazy. So, Tylenol. So I saw a chiropractor on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it, but he had like a surgical hat on. He looked kind of weird with that, and he's talking about the biochemical breakdown of Tylenol, and it ends up, Tylenol gets broken down to this poison, and then the liver has to use glutathione to get rid of it. And he's the only person on social media that actually showed how Tylenol is toxic. And he got attacked by standard medical doctors saying, "Why are you wearing a surgical hat?" And the answer is because he does stem cell injections. That's the answer. And why is the chiropractor talking about biochemistry of Tylenol breakdown? Because it's like knowledge that everybody should know. And he got attacked by like three or four medical doctors, and he says that. And one of the medical doctors said, "You need to take down this video because it's misinformation. Here's what you're missing." And he goes through these liver detox processes called phase 1, phase 2, and they use P450 enzymes. And this doctor that's saying that, he doesn't understand that glutathione drives detoxification, and that's the whole point. Tylenol depletes glutathione, and you can take that as a supplement. That's my point. You can buy glutathione on Amazon. You can go to the health food store and you can buy glutathione off the shelf. But medical doctors don't know this because it's nutrition, it's detoxification. And in all my years of being on social media, I've never had a medical doctor on social media say, "Hey, I detoxify my patients too." And it's the most important thing that you can do, to be honest, is detoxify. And why do medical doctors not want to talk about detoxification? Number one, they're trained that detox is a scam. Number two, that detox is done already by the liver and kidneys. You just drink some water, duh, which is ridiculous because they're so toxic. And number three, they're the ones toxifying us. They're causing toxicity with every single medication, even aspirin. So aspirin and Tylenol and every single medication has negative side effects. Every single medication is damaging to the mitochondria. Every single medication depletes glutathione. It's not just Tylenol. So then we had Obama saying, "Oh, but if you're a woman and you're pregnant, then you should," hey, Tim, good to see you. Obama, "Oh, you should take Tylenol. Don't worry about what the other people are saying." No, look for other alternatives. Now, who on social media has been giving other alternatives? I did a short. I don't know if it's released yet. I got a whole system with some other people. But I talk about a product called Salagesic. And this is from MediHerb, and this is a company in Australia. Salagesic is white willow bark. That's where aspirin comes from. It's from the bark of the willow or stem of the willow tree. And we're going back to the Native Americans, and they would make a tea from the bark of the willow tree, and they would drink it, and pain would go away. So, but in medicine, they say, well, we isolated the single most important chemical of white willow bark, and that's important, and that's why it's great. And it's like, wait a minute, wait. It causes ulcers, and it doesn't heal. Salagesic heals. So when you take NSAIDs or aspirin, and here's one group taking NSAIDs, one group taking aspirin. I'm sorry, one group taking NSAIDs and or aspirin, one group doing the white willow bark, the pain goes down pretty equivocally, and then after 6 months, then you stop, And the people on the drugs, their pain goes right back up to where it was at the beginning. But the people taking the white willow bark continues to go down, even though they stop the herb. It's very healing. It's not anti-inflammatory. It's pro-healing. There's a huge difference there. So nobody on social media is talking about this. Why? Because they're drug doctors. Because if they talk about white willow bark, I don't know if they're going to get in trouble with their license people, or their associates will turn them in, or they'll get kicked off the golf course with their friends who are pushing the drugs. Maybe they won't get free lunches anymore delivered to their office from the pharmaceutical companies. I don't know why. I'm a clinician. I've been a clinician for 7 years. And if I don't have an answer for a person's problem, I look for the answer. So now we have a new problem for all these, a million clinicians, 1 million medical doctors. Now they have a problem. Tylenol is bad for pregnant women, and we know it's bad for everybody. It damages your liver. Is there another solution? Nobody on social media has been saying, oh yeah, here, try white willow bark, try boswellia, try quercetin, try, and there's a whole bunch of nutrients that are pro-healing, and they get rid of pain, and they can get rid of inflammation instead of the drugs. Gigi says I've been saying white willow bark for years. Yeah, that's the way it should be. White willow bark, it has multiple chemicals in it that help healing. This is true when it comes down to, when you talk about drugs versus the supplements. Drugs are like, when you do like an NMR graph, you're looking for the radioactivity. How do I want to say this? Nuclear magnetic reading, if you will, of the chemistry of a drug. It goes like this. Watch. It comes out on a graph. It goes like this. One spike up, and then like this. If that one spike is at the beginning, or it's this big, or it's at the end, or it's this big, that's how they know it's the drug. But when you take the herb and you do the same procedure, it goes like this: up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, space, up, down. And so it just shows multiple chemicals in the herb. Those all come together. They're all medicinal. They all do synergistic effects on the human body. So this has been a very disappointing week for me for medicine, for the medical doctors. There are medical doctors I follow on social media. I follow them because they're smart, and they say smart things about a variety of subjects. This week, flunk. Flunk. All of them. Every single one of them. Flunk. You suck at it. Tylenol sucks. Find an alternative. And they don't. And they don't even look. And they say, oh, it's good. Or, oh, it's bad. Or just go moderation. Or give us the alternative. I just listed off 4. I'm a clinician. I do whatever it takes to get that influence. And let's say somebody has a migraine. Okay, you got a pregnant mom with a migraine. All right, and she doesn't want to take Tylenol. Okay, you can try the boswellia. You can do the Salagesic. You can do quercetin. You can do Cataplex ACP. But then the question is, why? Why do they have the migraine? It's not, if you're just treating pain, you're kind of lost. That's another concept I learned in chiropractic school in the mid-90s. When you're treating pain, you are lost because there is something causing that pain. So is it organisms? Is it a parasite in the head? Is it a toxin? Is it chemicals? There's something infecting or inflaming that tissue, but you don't necessarily want to treat that stuff with a pregnant woman. Not at all. I wouldn't recommend that at all. So, but you can mitigate some problems by using certain supplements and stuff like that. And so, in my lifetime, I've taken less than 40 aspirin. And about 2018, I cut my finger here. I needed 10 stitches right at the very tip of my finger. Terribly painful. I took 2 painkillers. One was at 1:30 a.m. so I could fall asleep, and another one was at 4 a.m. when I woke up again. And I remember when I was a kid, I got my wisdom teeth pulled out, and I was in bed, knocked out from the painkillers. My mom woke me up and said, "Here, take this." So I took it, and I barfed it up so hard I was squeezing the garbage can. I was like, "What? These drugs are terrible. Drugs are terrible, terrible." Now they do save lives, and if you get in a car accident, you got the 10 stitches like I did. Take the drugs, but just know that for chronic illness, complex chronic illness. You got to treat it nutritionally, diet and supplements. And there's no drugs that are really, really good for actually reversing chronic illness, complex chronic illness. There's no good drugs for it. And people talk about LDN, low dose naltrexone. And of course, if your thyroid is hypo, then you can take some Armour thyroid, which they're getting rid of, by the way. They don't want you on the natural Armour thyroid. They're eliminating that, and they're only going to have synthetic a thyroid. And that's just a manipulation by pharma to make more money. That's it. They just want to make more money. Armour thyroid is cheap, and it's a little bit, sometimes difficult to work with because it's not always a certain amount, like a predicted amount of T3 or T4. But whatever, these are games that pharma plays. So if you're in those circles, you got to deal with it. Now, in my last week, I've been commenting on medical doctors' posts on TikTok primarily. And there's a GI doctor, a wonderful female. I'm not saying her name, but she's very pleasant. She's very eloquent. She's very nice. And I posted and she talked about this. She said, Crohn's disease, when you get that diagnosis, it is the rootiest cause. Like people talk about what's the root cause? What's the root cause? And she's annoyed by that. And she's saying Crohn's disease is the root cause. You can't go any deeper than that. And I said, you can find parasites. Parasites cause Crohn's disease. I've done this for 20 years. IBS, IBD. And she replied back with a video. She said, okay, number one, there's no science that shows that parasites cause Crohn's disease. And I'm like, I tried to text back. I didn't make a video back. But it's like, parasite tests, like stool analysis, are terrible. So no wonder there's no correlation between parasites and Crohn's, because the testing is terrible. Bad results. I've had at least a dozen people where they put a parasite that they pooped out, put it in the box, send it to the lab, and it comes back negative. The parasite is in the box, in the lab, and they don't even see it. They mark it down as negative. The other thing she said was, there's this thing called the hygiene hypothesis, in that you can have these allergic reactions. You get a parasite, and then you feel better because the parasites flip your immune system. And I replied back, I know this hygiene hypothesis. It's a Th1, Th2 balance. I've given lectures on this to 800 doctors. You're not going to teach me about the hygiene hypothesis. And then the third thing she said was she goes, well, Crohn's and IBS are two different things. And I was like, I know. They're both related to parasites, though. So her 3 points, I negated them in my comments back. But there was an angry person in the comments, and she was like, you're just a chiropractor. I'm like, but I'm not your regular chiropractor. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to 80 doctors about 5 weeks ago. And afterwards, we did a book signing. This book right there, that blue book right there. I sold 40 books. Half the audience bought my book. And she goes, well, that means nothing. Okay. You're going to be mean like that? It's totally fine. Be mean. What really matters, though, is this, what I said, clinical expertise. People actually getting really good clinical advice and results. That's the only thing that matters. That is the only thing that matters. I don't care what you... So, there's been a lot of comments. Oh, you're just a chiropractor. Yeah, okay. I spent 27 years fixing people's bodies with only diet and supplements. I'm very proud of that. Very happy to be in this profession. Chiropractors are some of the happiest people. I'm one of them. And I haven't taken a new chiropractic patient in 15 years. So, I just don't adjust people. It's not my thing. And I don't do needles in any way. Acupuncture, I don't do ozone needles, injections, stem cell injections. I don't do any drugs, no prescription, no over-the-counter drugs, no ozone, no hormones, no peptides, just diet and supplements, and that's it. And I get great results. Yes, iodine, I do iodine. Yeah. Does the MVX test come with consultation? Yeah, you can buy a consultation. If you go to my website, click on Order Labs. There's one button that says MVX test, and the other one says Order Labs. Click on Order Labs, and you can see where you can just get a consultation. So, thanks, Allison. I really appreciate that. Crohn's IBS has nothing to do with parasites. Are we on the same page here? Crohn's and IBS has everything to do with parasites. Everything. And you don't. And so here's the other thing she said. She said, "Well, we already have drugs." And it's like, yeah, but my supplements actually work better than the drugs. And when you take the drugs, you can only take them for a short period of time. And whereas with the supplements, you can take them for a year. I've had people poop out parasites for 3 years, and they get better and better, and then it goes away. I've had other people take the supplements and nothing comes out. Regardless of what the stool analysis shows, you just take the supplements. They're really cheap. They're super safe. You just take them. They're not like the medications. They're super effective. So yeah, IBS, IBD, Crohn's, a lot of problems, arthritis, all kinds of problems come with parasites. Harbor metals and chemicals, Lyme, Candida, and mold, and viruses and bacteria. Parasites are the garbage trucks that drive around your neighborhood. You know, they stink and they're dripping liquid on the road, and the papers are flying around. That's parasites. Parasites are in your body to go wherever they want to go, and they cause harm wherever they go. And yeah, you can say, oh, they're good. You know, no, they're not. So there was a story, this is a long time ago on NPR, where this guy had some allergic reactions. He's in United States, and he had a bad doctor, and the doctor couldn't fix his allergies. Probably just gave him Benadryl or something stupid like that. And the guy learned that you can get parasites, and then you can feel better. So he flew to Africa, lived with some tribes. He walked barefoot around their latrine. Their latrine was a hole in the ground with handles so you don't fall in. And he just walked around, and he picked up a parasite, and he felt better, and his allergies were better, and he flew back to the United States. That is the worst healthcare you could possibly imagine. His doctor sucked. The point is, you can fix the allergies because he probably had some organisms in his sinuses, maybe in his lungs, and he needed some drainage. He needed some fenugreek to clean out fenugreek to clean out the lungs. And maybe he needed some quercetin to calm down his immune system. And maybe he needed some salt, like Calamo is a salt from Standard Process that changes the pH of your blood and that makes it inhospitable to certain organisms. And then you could do our lung from Systemic Formulas. Like, this is my job. I got all these supplements memorized, and then I just pick and choose, and I do biofeedback muscle testing and other forms of figuring out what a person needs. And I fix sinuses all the time. There's a product called Para 3 from Cellcore. It gets people blowing parasites out of their nose. I had 3 parasites come out of my nose because I was taking Para 3. It's a liquid. It's amazing. There's another, I had a patient, he was a maintenance worker at a hospital. He worked outside on generators and stuff. So he would bend down working, on one knee working. And then he would come up, and these big globs of white goo, this big, very flexible, would come out of his nose. This happened like 3, 4, 5 times. And he would catch it in his hand, and it looked like it was like twice the size of a golf ball. And he'd dump it on the ground. And his sinuses cleared up. Like, that's how you do it. You got to get stuff out of there instead of like trying to bring in a stupid parasite. So anyways, you got me going here about this. Do you honestly believe this yourself? Yeah, I believe this because I have seen tens of thousands of patients in 27 years, Boone. I'm a clinician. I don't do drugs. I don't use drugs. I don't use any medications. This is my whole point. Medicine has no idea the power of supplements. Supplements are crazy powerful. So for chronic illness, they're more important to use the right supplements and diet than drugs. Drugs are weak, and they work for 24 hours, and you need to take them again. They work again for another 24 hours, and you take them again, instead of actually solving the problem with the supplements. So, and this is my number one main argument and realization this week. My disappointing Tylenol week, WEEK. This week has been so disappointing. Like, doctors, Tylenol is poisonous. We've known this forever. What are your alternatives? They never say an alternative. They say take less of it, or take it as totally fine, or at the very least they should say take glutathione. Not a single medical doctor said take glutathione. We know that Tylenol depletes glutathione. We know that some people, like Jenny McCarthy's son, who's autistic, Evan, or Ethan is his name, he is genetically depleted of glutathione. So he has to get an IV every single week. They figured that out back in the 90s. It's a genetic condition. He's just weak in glutathione. He has a hard time detoxifying. So you don't ever want to give that kid Tylenol or, dramatic poisonous drugs or get them exposed to mercury, like from a broken fluorescent bulb, or you keep them away from all kinds of poisons. Like, this is basic, simple biochemistry. This is stuff I learned in chiropractic school in the mid 90s. Like, this is not new stuff, but it's new to medical doctors. It's new to them. It's pathetic. They were taught, supplements don't matter. And here we're talking about Tylenol depleting glutathione. They should say, oh, take glutathione. But they don't say that because it's a supplement. It's pathetic. So you feel you are smarter than the world's most brilliant scientists and physicians. No, I never said that, Boone. Don't be stupid. What a stupid question. I'm saying I've been seeing tens of thousands of patients for 27 years, and I'm telling you how to treat chronic illness, complex chronic illness. There's many ways to do it. You should read my book. Look, can you see my book? I'm going to get my book, and then you'll see where I'm coming from. Boone, look. Optimal Health. There, right? Read that book. It's on Amazon. Yeah. It's not new. What do you mean it's not new? This whole thing about Tylenol depleting glutathione is not new. It's been known for a couple decades. Hey, Kevin. Hey, good to see you. Gigi says, I actually am smarter than those people you're talking about. I read actual studies and I get real information, Boone. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're talking to. You're talking to me. Yeah. So, Abby, I didn't go to medical school. Don't confuse me with medical doctors. I am not a medical doctor. I would never be associated with that profession. There's no way. Now, 5 weeks ago, I spoke to 80 medical doctors, but I am not a medical doctor. So, hey, Paul. By the way, B1 rocks. Oh my God. So Kimberly, I just did a 1-hour lecture and I filmed it, right? Just today, edited it today, all about B1 for physicians. And I have this in the bottom right corner of my screen right there. It says mvxtraining.com. So that's a website that I put together for physicians only, doctors only. And excuse me. So I'm talking about MVX Plus. I got a 3-hour, 20-minute video there on MVX Plus, and then a 1-hour video on B1 that's going up pretty soon. And so B1, like 60 symptoms of B1 deficiency. I go through them: neurological, cardiovascular, end-of-life symptoms, and then GI, and then how to measure it, how to test it. And to be honest, there's no measurement of B1. You could do something like Genova and test B1 and get some ideas. But in my lecture, I just said, don't even bother testing B1. Just take it and then see what happens. So that's been pretty interesting. So somebody says, is COVID vaccine bad for you? Gina, yeah, I'm going to say yeah. So there's this lab test for the antibodies to COVID-19 spike protein. So hear me out on this. Hi, Annette. Thanks. Okay, so hear me out. COVID-19 spike antibodies test through LabCorp. Okay, so LabCorp is one of the biggest labs in the world, but obviously in the United States. And the cost, you can order this spike protein antibody test right on their website. So LabCorp On Demand is the type of web page that they created on their website to order spike protein antibodies. And you get this blood test done at the LabCorp, blood draw station, and your score should be less than 1,000. So I did mine. Mine was 100. And I learned about this from Dr. Peter McCullough. I saw him speak a few weeks ago. And here's the deal. I have a couple patients. They're not getting better with my therapies. And it's been driving me crazy. So when I saw Peter McCullough speak a few weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, I was like, oh my God, these are these patients. Like, I'm stuck because, and then I asked him, did you get the COVID shot? And both of them said yes. 2 separate people. They're not related at all. So the one guy, and he was seeing holistic integrative medical doctor too. He did this test. His score was over 25,000. And then the other girl, her skin she's very reactive to the sun, not getting better. No matter, she used to get better with my care, but not anymore. Her score was 8,000. So Peter McCullough has a supplement, and his website is TWC-Health, the wellness company, TWC-Health. And he's got the spike protein, ultimate spike something. and it's like a gold label. So, anyways, you take 2 a day at empty stomach, and it's filled with nattokinase, which and bromelain, no, burdock, no, ginger, I forgot. So there's an herb in there to reduce inflammation. So, anyways, I just put them on. I just told them to go buy that from Peter and see how it goes. So yeah, now this high spike antigen or high spike antibody only occurs in people with the shot. If you got COVID naturally and never got the shot, then you would never have a high antibody test. Now, here's a point. The reason why LabCorp is selling it directly to you and bypassing the hospitals and the medical doctors is because the MDs won't run it because they're culpable, right? They're liable for the damage that they did forcing people to get these vaccines, like get this vaccine or you lose your job situation. Yeah, they're liable. So Peter McCullough mentioned University of Michigan, which is, 17 minutes that way. The leaders and best, right, of healthcare. And he mentioned several, he went through a whole 6 different universities and also cancer centers. MD Anderson, he mentioned that too. And it's like, man, like it's so bad. The medical profession is so messed up. They should have never been pushing that vaccine, and now they know it. It's shame where they won't recommend this antibodies for the COVID-19 spike protein. So, all right. What kind of doctor? I'm a chiropractor. So, this is crazy wrong conspiracy about medical doctors. You're taking advantage of people. Get my fresh COVID shot today. Feeling great. See, this is the thing about TikTok. See this? You guys over here? I got TikTok on my phone. They're like, it's not good how things are on TikTok. And the thing is, I think with TikTok, since the videos are so short, they don't see the long form videos that I have on my YouTube channel. So with YouTube, 20, 30 minutes, I can go deep into a subject and, then show the references and show the results and stuff like that. So I don't know when MVX tests will be available in Canada. Timothy, I wanted to ask you about the body absorption of glutathione supplements, if it will make up for the loss of it over time in our body, and is there any studies on how much of it rejected by our body? Yeah, so here's the deal about glutathione. This is a great question. I have a product called Glenactive, and so it's got N-acetylcysteine and a bunch of other components of glutathione. So when you take glutathione orally, it gets broken up by the stomach, and then your body supposedly reassembles it back in your body. And it's showing, the research shows it's not a true statement. Like, it doesn't work that way. Now there's liposomal glutathione, which supposedly goes into the cells better, fine. And then this Glenactive is the components of glutathione that passes through the stomach, and it does get reconstructed into glutathione. So anyways, having said all that, you just want to get a really high quality glutathione, either liposomal or this Glenactive. And I put people on Glenactive. It's a powder that you put into your water, and you stir it up. And that people feel better in 2 days. Their energy comes up in 2 days. Emotionally, they feel better. So yeah, it's about quality of the supplement. So, what's your opinion on taking aromatase inhibitors to prevent breast cancer recurrence? I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that. Actually, I have a supplement, Hormone U Biomic. It's called. I'm sorry, no, it's called Hormonogenic, and that's an aromatase inhibitor. But yeah, do the drug, do the supplement, whatever. What about nebulizing glutathione? I never even heard of that. Nebulizing glutathione. Don't even know. VLDL5, is that good? Yeah, VLDL5 is really, really good. So anything below 19, VLDL is really good. S-acetylglutathione is better. Vitamin. Sounds like you know what you're talking about because of your name. So, yeah, Abby, I do not have the authorization to legally prescribe drugs. I cannot prescribe drugs or anything. That's a true statement. I can make recommendations. And I deal with supplements and diet. I make recommendations on supplements. That's all. So you're very smart, Abby. Good job picking that up. Hey, Todd. Good to see you. All my people are showing up. So, anyways, so I wanted to, let's see, I want to do a little shout out to Dr. Berg. So as I'm going through, and like I said, I spent so much time on social media this week. My minder, the screen minder came up and it said it was like almost 8 hours a day. Oh my God, that's so much time looking at shorts. And it's because I want to find out what people are saying about this whole Tylenol glutathione thing. And so Berg, with his latest video, I think it came out yesterday, he explained all the alternatives when you have the need to get rid of pain while pregnant so you can avoid Tylenol. So I suggest, it'd be great if you could check out that video. And, it's probably 10 minutes long or 11 minutes. So he goes over, or like if a child has a fever, how to not give the child Tylenol. And like calcium lactate, for example, the fever, there's different theories on this, but even back in the 1950s, what they said then was the fever would pull calcium out of the bones, kind of like cooking your bones, to get the calcium to mobilize white blood cells. So the white blood cells need calcium to move. And so you get calcium into the blood and into the white blood cells. And now the white blood cells are more mobile, more active, and better able to take care of the infection. So calcium lactate, 500 milligrams or something like that. You don't even have to do you could do 1,500 milligrams, but yeah. So Abby loves me. She goes, please do not trust this man with your health. He is trying to sell you unregulated supplements. So I am trying to sell as many supplements as possible. And I picked the ones that are the best quality. And in my career, I currently carry about 800. And in my career, I've gotten rid of hundreds or thousands. Like I don't carry a lot of supplements. I've chosen not to because I didn't see the results that I wanted to see clinically. And then the ones I do carry, you have to do them. You have to recommend them correctly at the right time for the right purpose for the right person. So, and that's another thing that I found this week is that the people who don't like chiropractors or nutrition, that's their fault points, right? That's like, oh, you're trying to sell supplements, supplements bad, like that. Okay, yeah, I'm selling supplements, right? These supplements are not poisonous. They don't kill anybody. They don't, spike up your spike protein antigen. They don't kill your liver like Tylenol. They don't cause autism like. By the way, in my career, I've had a dozen kids as patients, profoundly autistic because of the shot in their arm. And this is what happened. I'm telling you, a dozen. This is what happens. They get the shot, come home, fever, seizure, screaming, and they go limp. And then the one mom told me she took her baby back to the hospital, and the nurse said, oh, this has been happening all night. It must have been a bad batch. Another kid was there in Africa. The family was moving to the United States. They were required to get travel vaccinations. The kid went limp. The mom brought him to me. I couldn't help at all. He was a total rag doll, and he was like 4 or 5 years old. His eyes were back, like this. There was nobody home. And another girl, when she was 2 years old, check this out. She had cancer, and she was given chemotherapy. And as they were putting it into her arm, she started stimming, and she got autism from the chemotherapy. So toxins are toxins. Toxins cause inflammation. Toxins can cause brain inflammation. So I don't understand the controversy there. There's no controversy there. Scott, Tylenol spelled backwards is lonely T. Yeah. Scott, thanks for the joke because I needed that. So back in the 90s when I was in chiropractic school, Abby, I don't know what chemotherapy it was. So this is speculation and harmful. Yeah, it's very harmful to do chemotherapy when it does so much harm to that kid. Like that story is terrible. Otherwise, chemotherapy, we want it and we need it for cancers, etc. I'm just telling you the story that the parents told me. And so this is the thing about, believing the parents. So somebody like Abby would never believe the parents. The parents would say, hey, this is what happened to my child. And Abby would say, oh, no, that doesn't happen. Chemotherapy is totally safe, and all the shots are safe, and Tylenol is safe, right, Abby? My I study daily, Abby. That's my training. I study basically almost every day for 27 years, since 1993. So, yeah, you don't know me either. Oh, Abby, tell me who you are. Who are you, Abby? She's pissed off at me. I was too muted as a parent. No more. Sarah Jane says, yeah, you were muted as a parent. So if you ever check out Del Bigtree, he has the High Wire. That's the name of his podcast, and he's been saying this for a long time. And anyways, what I was going to say in chiropractic school was, my teachers, my professors in school in the mid '90s said vaccines cause autism. They said that, and at the time, was there research to show that? No, but they said it because the moms told them. So when RFK Jr. was traveling around teaching about mercury in the oceans and mercury in the fish, he would give a lecture, and then the moms would come up to him and say, hey, you should study mercury in the vaccines. And that's what kind of like opened up his eyes, because now he's like looking at, what are you talking about? I've never heard this before. Oh, Boone, I'm not insecure at all. How do the moms know? Because the parents they saw their child devolve. What's the word? The reactions came within an hour or so of the vaccine, or instantly, because it's called timing. It's called date coincident. So you had you had a thing happen, and then right after that, another thing happened. So like, if I were to take this glass of water and pour it on my head, then I would be wet, and I would say, oh, I got wet because I poured water on my head. Date coincident. I did this. This happened. So that's what happens that's what the moms say. So you should go talk to some parents of vaccine damaged children, and you can like look that up online and stuff. Yeah, it's a direct correlation, right? Abby, I know you're suffering. I know it's hurting your brain right now. Kimberly says, dang, my son called. I wanted to hear about B1. I'll replay. They altered the stats about vaccines. Yeah, they altered the stats about the COVID vaccine, because they said you weren't vaccinated for COVID until 2 weeks after your second shot or something like that. So Sarah Jane, it can be reversed. So cool thought. Autism. I currently have an autistic child as a patient. She's been with me for 2 years. They're from Ethiopia. They live in Canada, and here's the deal. She was socially ignoring all commands and all communication, stimming, hyperfixated on an object. And anyway, so what do you do with this kind of situation? Well, just like any other complex chronic illness, you detoxify. And that includes parasites, whatever organisms, metals, chemicals, you get it all out. And you start with the parasites, and she pooped out parasites. Like this big, 6 inches, 8 inches. Her dad told me. I documented it in my file for her. Then we started detoxing metals and chemicals. And as we're going through this process, she starts to look at her parents, and she starts to engage with other kids at school. And now she's starting to smile, and now she's trying to talk, and she's not talking yet, but she's trying to talk. So now she's obeying commands, and her parents tell her, okay, put your iPad down, and she does. Okay, come to the table, we're going to eat. So she walks to the table, and her grades in school, at her special school, her grades are going up, up, up. So yeah, this is a reversal of autism. And I've had autistic kids before that I couldn't help. And I got a friend, his name is Jimmy Scaringi. He's a nutritionist. He's not even a chiropractor or a medical doctor in any way. He's a nutritionist. He has a boy patient who reversed his autism completely, and his mom wrote a book about it. And I forgot the name of the book. Sorry, I don't remember the name of the book. So the thing about my interactions with the medical people this week, it's not been good. They're very mean, very angry, very upset, and of course they're not going to learn anything because I think they already know everything. They think they already know everything. That's a barrier to learning something new. And I kind of I've had this idea like, I've done a lot of videos about a lot of different supplements over the last 12 years on YouTube since 2013, and it's like I'm just gonna educate people on supplements, like why not? And and it's like if I say something, I can make a comment on a medical doctor's page, I get attacked, and it's like go to my YouTube page and learn about the supplement, right? It's a whole new world. It's a whole new industry. So it's a different language, it's a different procedure, it's a different economy, right? It's cheaper, there's no insurance. I mean, Abby, you're just asking me what I can't see all your questions because I got a couple things going on here. Your question is, what's my degree? I'm a chiropractor, I'm telling you. So you're asking me questions, you're asking me how long I've been studying, what's my resource. I mean, this is an opportunity for you to learn, Abby. You can learn. Physicians hate you because you're spreading misinformation. I mean, I got the clinical results. Abby says, define a virus. Define autism. So stick to your stupid activator. The activator, yeah, lots of trolls on TikTok. So the activator, there's medical doctors making fun of it. There's a surgeon making fun of the activator. So it's a device you put in your palm and it clicks. So some chiropractors use it, and it's for the nervous system, and it's not for the bones or the joints, although you may contact bones or joints. And it's I had it done on me a couple times. It worked once for me, and it really helped my shoulder out. But I know some people really, really benefit from it. So, yeah, fast food is amazing. Yeah. Abby, okay, you're a third year medical student who has done real research. That's great. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm involved in real research too right now. So we're using MVX Plus, the test, to evaluate diets on about 200 people, probably less than that. So 100 people on the standard American diet, 100 people on the carnivore diet. Thanks, Annette. And that says you handle the ignorance of others very well. I have a lot of experience with that. It's hard to kind of like stay above all that, It's very like down. The emotions that can pull you down. You know what I mean? So I spent a lot of time and work to not get pulled down by people who are just angry. So Sean says adjustments are still needed. Yeah, adjustments. So okay, having said that, I'm a chiropractor. I don't adjust people. I have one chiropractic patient that I adjust. I don't know how people go about their life without ever getting adjusted. That's just an opinion. What's my definition of real research? Real research is getting the IRB and going through that process, and then getting people, and then it's best to do have a control group and then experimental group. But with this research we're doing, we're just doing MVX tests on 200 people, so we won't really know the causation, but we'll have a score. MVX Plus gives you a score 1 to 100 on your overall health. So if the carnivores get a score of 50 and the standard American diet people get a score of 70, then the carnivore people are just healthier. You want that score on the MVX Plus to be low. So now I'm not doing the research. It's I have a PhD person from Liberty University. She finished all of her PhD classes, and she's got a team of 3 professors, and they're putting together the initial questions and paperwork. I'm not doing it, right? She's doing it, but I'm helping her out. So with MVX Plus, she was told it would take 16 to 20 weeks to put together her team of professors to help her out. She actually got it done in 3 days. because what we're doing is so exciting about MVX Plus. So you did the research. Thanks, Abby. That's great. I'm very happy for you that you did the research. That's awesome. So, but I'm a clinician. I don't do research like that. I do what's called empiricism. Empiricism is when you work with a person and then whatever you do didn't work, so then you switch over and do something else. So empiricism, that's my thing. No, Abby, it's not 3 days of data. It took her 3 days to get a team of professors. Instead of 16 to 20 weeks, it took 3 days. Because the research that she's doing with my help is fascinating, and the professors are all over it. So, hey, Barb. Barb, I do have a MVX score of a vegan, and his glyc-A was really low, which was amazing, 273, and his overall score was is above 60. He has he's got heart failure. He's 81 years old. So otherwise not very many other vegan MVX scores. But good to see you, Barb. So yeah, so Abby said, here's a good point, Abby. Abby seems like the epitome of the saying, a little information is a dangerous thing. Yeah, that's true. A little information is a dangerous thing. How do I diagnose CSA, congestive heart failure? I don't. His medical doctor, his cardiologist did. So I don't diagnose any disease. You got to understand my license. I do nutrition and supplements. I don't diagnose disease. Can I please block him? Mariah, sorry. Mariah wants me to block him. It's fine. Our kids just said, I don't know how people never get adjusted. Every time they're in body pain, they ask their dad for an adjustment. Oh, so Linda, yeah, your husband's a chiropractor. Hey, Tim, now that you mentioned fast food, my joint pain due to gout has disappeared, and the one gout attack I had went away in 16 hours instead of 3 days. So, Abby and Ship It Now, I'm reading a success story from YouTube. He's my patient. So let me read it to you. Make sure you hear it. This is the ultimate of empiricism. He's been taking fast food, which is a product from standard processes, phosphorus. He says, my joint pain due to gout has disappeared. And the one gout attack I had went away in 16 hours instead of 3 days. That is from a nutritional supplement. So there you go. That's my expertise. So he could have been on allopurinol. I mean, maybe he's been taking it, but the fast food speeds it up. It actually rounds out any kind of stones or crystals, including, I don't want to get into it, but it'll break up stones. So there you go. Yeah, they're not learning. Abby and Ship It Now are not learning. You guys got to learn. And this is the ultimate. This is the reason why this week's been so disappointing. So picture this too. All during COVID, right? My office got shut down for 6 weeks. I was so pissed off. Gretchen Whitmer, she's my governor in Michigan. Terrible, right? And then the forced vaccinations. If this vaccine was so damn good, why you have to force it? And then you can't treat yourself at home. And they picked remdesivir. Come on, give me a break. And it's so, and at the time I was like, okay, we'll get through this. And there's going to be a lot of people learning, right? This is the ultimate time period or era of tyranny and forced medication. But we'll get out of this and people will learn. And now we have this Tylenol thing. It's nobody learned anything. Nobody learned a damn thing, right? I'm saying on social media, people are saying, oh, Tylenol is good. Obama said it. Tylenol is good. Come on. It's never been good. It kills the pain, but it kills your liver. So what are the alternatives? Abby, give me the alternatives to Tylenol. Not drugs. Give me the supplements that are as effective as Tylenol. Go ahead. Go. You don't know because you don't study this stuff. So I got all these books and stuff and empiricism and clinical trial and error. Okay, sorry. So Barb says, I have severe reactions to mosquito and bee wasp bites, but the supplements you recommended, my reactions ended in just a couple days instead of usually weeks. So there's another example of a patient who speeds up her healing because of the supplements I've been recommending. So even though I'm saying these clinical success stories live, these patients are telling me, and they're telling me to tell you, you're still not going to believe, because you're blocking yourself from learning that, hey, supplements are more important for complex chronic illness than drugs. So learn this, Abby. You got to learn this stuff. Kimberly says 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Paul Van Ravensway, which is the coolest last name ever. Remdesivir killed my neighbor in 24 hours. How did Dr. Brownstein stay open during COVID? I mean, we all kind of stayed open behind closed doors. Kimberly, stop. Don't read Kimberly's comment. Okay. God, Kimberly, you just got me off track. I was going to say one more thing. I forgot. Okay, so thank you for hanging out with me. And all the other cool people on TikTok, I appreciate you for hanging out. Abby just kind of like threw in a lot of like hate, and but we can still learn from her, right? Like we can still see that there are people with the attitude like all chiropractors are bad, or I do real research, like I'm important. That's cool. I hope that she graduates next year from medical school and becomes an excellent doctor and helps a lot of people, right? I really want her to succeed and help a lot of people. That's the thing. She's got to help people, right? So, yeah. Okay, cool. It's been fun. It's been an hour and I got to go. I'm tired. It's Sunday night. Like I should be chilling watching Netflix, but here I'm working. I'm working. Okay, see ya. I'm going to close off on TikTok first. See ya, TikTok. Bye. I appreciate you. Okay, everybody else, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye. Kimberly, sorry for the Cali attitude. I'll behave next time. No, you're fine. You're awesome. Love you. Okay, bye.